In some cities, crimes do not announce themselves. They happen, then disappear. In a city that never sleeps, the crimes began without reason. No fixed time, no repeated place, victims with no connection, and a killer with no pattern. All the evidence pointed to one person, a mysterious neighbor, disturbed, eccentric. But is everything that appears terrifying truly evil? Sometimes evil is not what we imagine, and at other times, our fears lead us to accuse the innocent, while the real killer is closer than we think, watching. The truth was not what everyone believed. But the most important question is, who is the killer? Welcome to the story of the Alexandria slasher. The confrontation. It was 5 in the afternoon when I finished my lunch, and suddenly the doorbell rang loudly. I knew I hadn't paid this month's rent yet, so I assumed the doorman was at the door. I went to the bedroom, took £3 from the pocket of my suit jacket, then headed to the door and opened it. But the surprise was like a thunderbolt. It was not the doorman. It was Ezet. He stood before me steadily, a mysterious smile playing on his lips, his nose swollen from yesterday's punch, with 2 pieces of gauze stuffed into his nostrils, his hands in his pockets. He did not look entirely repulsive, yet his mere presence was enough to fill me with fear. I had not expected him to visit in the afternoon. Then he said in a calm voice with a strange tone, "May I come in?" I did not know how to react. Refusing him entry now might arouse his suspicion, so I silently nodded for him to enter. He stepped forward slowly, his eyes watching me like a hawk. "Were you eating?" "No matter, I won't take much of your time." Then he slipped his hand into his pocket and pulled out something small, saying, "Does this belong to you?" I froze in place. It was the flashlight I had forgotten in his apartment the night before, the one that had fallen from me in the bathroom while I was hiding. I swallowed hard, trying to recover, but before I could speak, he said firmly, "Don't lie. I know it well. I saw it during your first visit. It was on the table in the living room, and I never forgot its shape." Then he added, narrowing his eyes, "It's a Romanian-made flashlight? I've never seen one like it before." I tried to respond, stammering, But he cut me off in a cold tone dripping with threat. "I see. Now everything has become clear to me." Then he looked straight into my eyes and whispered through his teeth, "You tried to kill me? And almost broke my nose?" He slowly pulled his left hand out of his pocket and produced an ugly-looking switchblade, brandishing it in my face as he said, "Speak. Tell me why you sneaked into my apartment last night." At that moment, I realized that all masks had completely fallen. There was no longer any room for acting or deception. He knew that I knew, and I knew that he knew. And there was nothing left for me but to scream. But no, not yet, not before I tried to survive. I shouted at him hysterically, "Stay away from me, you cannibal." He smiled in disdain and replied, "What nonsense is this?" I answered quickly and firmly, "Listen, my friend, you're in trouble. An entire squad of police officers is surrounding the building, and they're ready to tear you apart at the first scream from me. One scream from you, and it's over. Now hand me that weapon before it hurts anyone." A look of astonishment rose on his face. Then he asked in a stammering voice, "What is this stupidity? What police officers? And what? Are my eyes deceiving me, or is he actually trembling?" He was trembling, cold sweat pouring down his cheeks, his eyes darting, his lips quivering. Then he collapsed to the floor like a wounded bull in a Spanish bullfighting arena after being exhausted by its injuries. The first thing I did was snatch the switchblade from his limp grip and begin examining him. This young man is truly ill. He's not pretending. What's wrong with him? Rapid pulse, cold sweat, general weakness. I don't know the cause of all this, but I won't let him die like a rabid dog before my eyes, even if he is a cannibal. I hurried to the blood pressure monitor, wrapped the cuff around his arm, and focused my ears on reading the pulse. But for a moment I thought he was joking or that the reading was wrong. It was impossible that this was his real blood pressure. I noticed his lips trembling as he whispered in a faint voice, "Hurry? Court? Cortisone." I said to myself firmly, "All right, it seems this monster knows what treatment suits him. Whether my decision is right or reckless, I have no choice but to try. I have 2 ampoules of cortisone and a glass syringe. There's no time to boil it now, but it hasn't been used on anyone anyway. I quickly broke the 2 ampoules, filled the syringe, then plunged the needle into his vein and emptied it completely. He began to breathe regularly. Yes, there is no doubt he's improving. I don't know whether that is good luck for him or for me. I now have a reasonable theory about what I'm facing, but it still needs proof. And the only proof will come from this poor fellow when he fully regains consciousness. Now we are sitting at the dining table, tense glances crossing between us. He sits at the other end of the table, pale-faced, looking at me with lethargy, weakness, and a slight tremor. As for me, I hold the pistol in my hand, staring at him cautiously and expectantly. Nearly a quarter of an hour has passed with us in this strained standoff. I said with affected firmness, "And now?" He did not answer, but lowered his head in silence. Then he raised his eyes toward me and said slowly, "Yes, that is the name they told me." I said while watching him, "You suffer from adrenal gland failure, or what is known as Addison's disease. Isn't that so?" He looked at me in astonishment and said, "Yes, indeed." I continued in the tone of a confident physician. "Then everything makes sense now. Addison's disease is caused by the adrenal gland not secreting cortisone properly, and the result is severe weakness, emaciation, a terrifying drop in blood pressure, roughness in the palms, and that strange dark complexion in your skin that aroused my suspicion from the beginning." I paused briefly, then added, "Your only treatment is cortisone, and you know that better than I do, but it is a lifelong treatment." Then I looked at him and asked, "And I suppose your intense craving for spices is related to your illness, isn't it?" He looked at his palms absently and said quietly, "It's not just spices, it's that mad craving for salt. Sometimes it strikes me until I nearly lose my mind." I smiled confidently as I placed the pistol on the table near my hand. "That's natural. Your body lacks sodium, an essential element that disappears in cases of Addison's disease. Perhaps that is also the reason your stomach detests the taste of sweets. And I believe this illness is the reason behind your depression, your isolation, and your strange behavior. Because, quite simply, it does not exhaust the body alone. There are still secrets that haven't been revealed, and characters that haven't appeared yet, and a greater truth hidden in what's to come. Each episode brings us one step closer, but every step reveals that the road is longer than we thought. Don't judge yet. And don't think the picture is complete. It's still continuing. And the next episode will open a new door, one we may not be able to close. In the next episode, we will uncover a new part of the mystery, another side of the truth, and characters that have yet to appear. Until we meet again, remember, the ending is not always what we expect.